Good morning, all. Let's go through the top 10 here in the rankings in NRL Fantasy for 2022. So we have a new leader this week, and Joshy, who is one of followers of my channel, which is really, really cool. He's up into the number one spot, and they've the guys that were there, the All Out Fantasy NRL Fantasy crew, have dropped down to 7th with a pretty tough week. So we'll jump into their squad as well and have a look at the bunch of these top 10 guys and really delve into where they're at currently, and then have a look at their team values and squad values as well. You can see here the majority of the guys in the top section, team values are really, really high, which is a great start for them, but not a lot of money in the bank. So Josh is an interesting one. I'll be interesting to see if I can get a little bit of insight from him in the Discord or something like that. But yeah, it's had a really, really consistent start here. If you're looking at where my head-to-head team is at 351 rank, where just under 200 points behind at this stage. So not a big difference. There's only obviously a couple of 2 good weeks. 2.5, 3 good weeks there to catch up into that number one spot. But the squad here, pretty normal, right? Has really ridden the Moses train this last bunch of weeks. Had DC from the start, I imagine. Obviously a lighter captaincy week, but still a really good week overall. And to get into the top position without Cleary, there had to be some decent scores, and there was obviously Grant, Penasini, the Starling, and Schneider down below. So this team isn't too dissimilar to a lot of the ones we have. Obviously, the difference might be Cleary over DCE at this point, and has Moses, who's been doing really well. And the rest of the guys are very normal, like the Kurtmans, the Arrows, Harry Grant, a lot of people have as well, to go along with Payne Haas. You got the Violeas, the Thompsons, the Iliases. So nothing too out of the ordinary for this team. And if you can make a few interesting moves that really pay off, whether it's Papali'i, whether it's having Cleary, etc., then you could really dominate over the next bunch of weeks and try and catch up to these types of squads. So Josh is leading by 11 at this point. So well done to Josh. We've got the Jokic for MVP. Yes, he's probably going to win MVP, but my Warriors are destroying his Denver Nuggets at the moment. So well done. You're coming second in NRL Fantasy, but struggling a little bit in the NBA. But 12.443 as a squad value is absolutely killing it, and does have Nathan Cleary in his side. So DC and Cleary as a combo is terrific there. You can see how this squad's got that extra team value, which is able to really help dominate. Has Dylan Brown and Harry Grant on the bench as well, with Kula there, who hasn't been named unfortunately, but Tuolangi there. Got the Thompson, who's been making some cash. So a couple of different ones here. Josh King has obviously started with him and has done well there. So a few things to question and decide what to do this week, but a really, really nice score as well. Let me know what your team value is, guys, in the comments below. All right, Joseph, the Deep Heat. So this squad here, again, has Cleary, which is nice. Very much the standard back three. So most of these guys are holding Crichton as well. So just be aware of that, guys, that you don't have to move them on. Brodie Jones is in there. Nanai is still going. So, these guys are still holding, some of the guys that you're looking at trying to move on. So, very similar side as well. Again, they've just had, they just either started with the correct guys and not had to trade too much, or brought in the necessary guys each week, or they've traded correctly. They've also played their benches correctly as well. You can see this one here just got that right with Schneider in there. Was able to loop him over Walters or Thompson, which is very, very normal. But sitting here with Matt Burton, hasn't even got that one correct, and still coming 4th overall. So just be aware of that, guys, that you don't have to be perfect in all weeks and don't have to have every selection perfect. You can see why this person's still done okay, is because Burton hasn't lost any cash. So it's just avoiding those types of guys. Having Cook over Reed Marnie, for example, would be one of those options, that's for sure. But yeah, that's it. The way this team's at. Number 4, we'll go through Saf as well with Maxi, very regular in the comments and the Discord. So welcome and well done, Saf. Had Captain Harry Grant, so well done with that one. Even, lucky didn't decide to go Moses, but has Papali'i. So it's a slightly different squad here with Burton as well. And just got things right in the bench as well. So it's just the important things, guys, just getting those correct. And doing well from there. It was interesting that went for Chewy. Yes, it didn't really actually loop. Just went, Chewy's going to be 5. Yeah, interesting. So very interesting on that decision there, but has worked out so far. So well done to Saf for that one, and we'll go through 6 and 7, and then shout out the rest. So in number 6 here, team value is just a 12. So my squad has a higher team value than this one, and I'm ranked 345 spots behind. So Harry's done really well with guys that haven't made a lot of money, but have done their job really well, which is great, and that makes sense here, having Vailea, having Moale, having Coates without making too much cash there. Thompson's made a bit, but the rest of the guys kind of have made a bit of cash there. DCE and Cleary has been really good, so yeah, well done to Harry as well. And then we've got the All Out Fantasy crew. We'll talk through them, and then we'll move on to talk a little bit about how my head-to-head squad's going. So that's that. All right, this one's had Curran for more. So yeah, a little bit different in this one. A lot of teams in the first few rounds had Bowie in them, and obviously now not so much. So very interesting there. Having Moses as captain this week hurt. Not captaining Murray over him, for example. No Cleary in this team, and probably no clear direction on how to get him. 100k in the bank is okay. But it's probably deciding to make a couple of trades this week, whether they downgrade a Bowie and go up with Burton. These are all the interesting questions. But has Murray, who's been doing really well, and decided picked well on the bench, thankfully as well. So brought in Blake Taft this week also, which is interesting. It definitely becomes an option heading into this week. But that's the top 7 there. And then shout out to Tristan, Ants, Aiden to round out the top 10. Then we got Daniel, Fred, Keegan, Ben, Jade. Ben again, Samuel, the other Sam, Shane, and Lucan, who round out the top 20. So if I mention your name there, jump in the comments. Let me know if you're a follower of my channel, and that would be really cool. And this top 4, take out one of them, I think, and Saf there is in the 4. So they're the leading my comp as well. So I'm excited for those guys. If you can hang at the top of the ladder, tell me where you're from, and I can't wait to eventually hang out with you if we get to that stage. Okay, my head-to-head team. We have a bunch of different competitions here. I'm 6-0 in this one. We have one, real challenger here in Luke, who's been doing really well with, score not too far from mine. Obviously, massive point difference for both of us, and also Landon there. So this team, we've got 5 guys there doing well, 5 or 6 out of 6 there, which is cool. We'll move back to look at some of my other leagues. I'm coming second in this one, which is interesting. I lost this round for, I imagine, my first loss of the season there. Oh, I've lost 2 in this one. So I lost 2 on the trot. Bloody hell. Oh, this is the one with Carl. Okay, this is with Lomax, who is ahead at the moment. So yeah, some decent plays in this one. Obviously, we got all the... Who else we got in here? Who do I know in here? Timmy. That'd be Timmy Valentine. Who else we got? Eddie Durham. So he's actually 3-3, which is, for a guy that's been scoring really well. It's interesting how it works that way. So this is very interesting competition, pretty well even across the board. We've got a bunch of guys 3-3, 4-2s, and just the 1, 5, and 1. So that's going to be a tough comp and very interesting, with a lot of those guys potentially playing overall rather than head to head. All right, the Strictly Guns. This one here, we've got a nice decent win on the weekend as well, and we're coming first. We had 1 loss in this one as well, so doing well there. And just strategy, guys. It's not going to change too much until Origin comes along. What I say, after like round 6 or 7, if I'm in the top 300, we'll play overall. If not, we're going to head-to-head. I think we're going to have to stick with head-to-head there. In the bee's knees, so we won by 1 point in this one. It was nice. Generation Jack. Let's have a look at that. What do we have here? Both had Cook captain. Had Gilbert. We both had Cotter. He had Arrow for feeder. Wow, so I did well to manage to sneak this one home. Oh, had the DMP. That hurts. I had the emergency. That's fine. And Arthur's. Ugh, that's tough. And played Billy Walters. Okay, that's where it hurt. It's cool to watch this, actually, the game by game, how you played, and then we crossed over at the end there in the St George Newcastle game, and then won by 1 point. So that's pretty cool. But the ladder in that one, I've won all 6 of my games. Again, we've got a few guys that are doing pretty well, and yeah, that's that there. My leagues. Let's go back for a couple more, and then we'll move on. So actually, I want to see the Phantom Broncos. I'm coming 5th in that one, which is very interesting, with how good the team's going to be that low. But let's check the ladder in that one. So yeah, 4-2 on that one. So I lost a couple early. And we've got a lot of good play, a bunch of good plays in this one. We've got someone who's 5-1 and has 4,456 points, and has had 4,210 played against. So that's very interesting. When I have 800 more points, but we've got 2 guys that are ranked ahead of me in this one with Dent. So Dent's really high in the top 50 there, I think. And then how good's this? Can we just make a comment on the Lone Scout being 250 points behind? Where does that put? Does anyone know where 4,997 points puts you in the ladder, guys? Can you jump in the comments and let me know? Because do we throw shade? The guys that have been on NRL.com, like I know like CK, I love him, for example. He very much a head-to-head type of player, so we can't talk about his overall stuff too much. But I know Lone Scouts has had some decent seasons, but yeah, this is a pretty tough one, unfortunately, for him. And then Benny T there with a good start to his season as well. All right, what else we got? 50. We got second here. So I got pumped. Let's have a look at Malone's Cones. How good is that name? Oh, whoops. Oh, well, that'll do. Do fix it. Go on. Go back. All right. Last one. Hit the ladder. Cool. We're in. So, okay, so that player's doing well as well. It's just basically us two in the league. So that'll be interesting. There's a bunch of guys in these leagues that are actually going to be really good. Depends if they're going to play overall or not. We obviously spoke about the strategy being more of a sit and hold through the buy period and just keep making sure you're gaining cash with potential cash cows that come up in that period, and then bringing in all those guns as well. So that's that video, guys. I hope that helps you out a little bit. If I've shouted you out, let me know in the comments. If you're new to this, subscribe, like the video, that would be great, and we'll catch you in the next few, guys. Have a good week.